Three of the most bizarre anxiety symptoms. Number one is sinus changes. Right now, when we're used to thinking of anxiety, we think, oh, okay, there's a little bit of nervousness, there's a little bit of fear, maybe rapid breathing, something like that. But like sometimes anxiety can create such bizarre symptoms. Some of the most bizarre symptoms include sinus changes. You may notice your sinus may be acting up. You're like, is this allergies? Is this weird? Is this part of anxiety? Is it not? Well, anxiety can create systemic changes, meaning it's connected to almost every organ of the body. So it can create anything from palpitations to dizziness, vision changes, and even sinus changes. And so it's really hard to identify, well, how do you know what's anxiety and what's not? And the answer is so simple, which is just getting everything ruled out by your doctor. If the doctor says it's clear, believe them. When it comes to these kinds of tests and stuff like that, if there's something physiologically wrong, they're very good at identifying it and ruling everything out. Which leads me to number two, which is dizziness. Or it could feel like vertigo. Or it could feel like you're like kind of on a boat that's swaying. And it's really easy to think, oh my God, I have a vestibular issue. Maybe there's something wrong with my balance. And then you go to the doctor, and you may even go to an ENT, which is the ear, nose, throat doctor, and they do some maneuvers and they're like, hey, everything is fine. So you're like, okay, why is this happening then? Like, is it just something the doctor's missing, or is this just something I'm always gonna have to deal with? Well, here's what happens. When you're experiencing that, it's actually caused by the fight or flight response. Now, the fight or flight response is really inherently how you experience anxiety. There's physiological changes that happen to either fight a threat or run away from a threat. Historically, that's what predatory, like almost survival skills came in. So your body naturally responds that way. One of the consequences of that is that you will experience physical symptoms. One of it is the dizziness. So why is that happening? Well, when you're in that fight or flight response, you experience blood flow changes. One of the blood flow changes that happens is you get a head rush. And so what happens is that you end up getting a lot of blood going to your head, and that's what creates the dizziness. That's what really creates the feeling of, oh my God, I'm gonna fall. But here's the thing. If you're experiencing anxiety, you're actually less likely to fall than a normal person that's not experiencing anxiety, because it's a survival thing. What's the point of falling? Is that a survival advantage? No, so why do it? So a lot of people's fears is just almost like an intrusive thought. And number three is brain zaps, yeah, or body zaps. And you can feel these zaps everywhere, and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being like electrically shocked, something seriously wrong. Well, when you're in this fight or flight response, one of the things that happens to your nervous system is that it becomes hyperstimulated, meaning it's very easy to trigger it. And in fact, it'll get triggered even when there's nothing to be causing the trigger. You may even notice it's twitching. So if you focus on the anxiety, all these things end up going away. If you want to learn more, check the comments.